very good afternoon and a warm welcome on behalf of the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University to our eminent panelists here today who have taken time to speak to all the students who are interested in the Bachelor of Business Administration and Retail Management at the DSEU. So Ms. Shobha Cecil, Mr. Sabaratnam Narayanan, and Mr. Samir have taken time to speak to all our students today. And all your queries will be clarified today because there is a program which is very, very interesting and unique that is being launched in the country. So we all know that retail is one of the evergreen sectors that we have, not only in the country, but across the world. Whether it's a pandemic or whatever comes our way, the retail sector does not stop. So we reinvent ourselves, we innovate, whether during the pandemic, we had the omni channels, we had e-commerce taking us, through all kinds of surprises, new ways of working. So I think the retail sector is one sector that we can always rely on. So this is a conversation for all those who are in retail or are interested in the retail sector. So today we have with us Ms. Shobha Cecil. She's the General Manager HR at the Reliance Brands, and she has been very kind enough to, participate in our apprenticeship embedded program as well. So we will hear more from Ms. Shobha Cecil in a while. We have Mr. Sabaratnam Narayanan from Titan, who has been very, very kind enough to, lend his learning and training experience as he heads that position at Titan at the Curriculum Advisory Group, the CAG, at the DSU. And we have Mr. Samir from the Retailers Association's Sector Council of India, who has been the backbone of everything that we are doing with the course. So a warm welcome once again. And with, not wasting too much time, I would like to request Mr. Samir to give us really what the course entails and what the students who will come to the DSU for the BBA Retail Management can expect from the course.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It's really very overwhelming to be part of this conversation today. And I think today it's going to be a history. Actually, we are embarking on a journey which very few did in our nation. So soon the nation is also going to realize that. In fact, my co-panelists, Shobha and Sabaratnam will also be able to share more on this program. Meanwhile, let me focus my conversation with what is this program and why is this program and how this program came into existence. This, like what Madam said, it is a unique program, yes. Let me start off with one thing. Let's go to traverse to Germany first. So generally, why Germany is so famous, or generally why is it so well known in this education sector, especially for the dual learning. Now, what is dual learning? The dual learning methodology has been there since long in India also. But let me touch upon that a little later. But if you look at the Germany model, where the student enrolls himself into a school or a college and also at the same time enrolls himself or herself into a industry, and while he or she practices, while he or she learns a lot many things into the classroom, he or she also goes to the workplace and practices what he or she has learned. Then after looking at that, after a study which was done, then we said, why not do something which is a Germany Plus model? Now, what is this Germany Plus model? So probably, if you ask your brothers, sisters, or anybody who is already working, so even if I ask my co-panelists or myself, that whenever after my graduation, I went to any interview to seek a job. So first thing somebody would ask, is definitely tell me about yourself and what is the experience you have. Okay. So a fresh graduate, of course, what experience he or she will have. So he or she is actually seeking a career, is actually seeking a first breakthrough. But definitely, even if you have seen so many Bollywood movies where the interviews were shown, and आपको कोई experience नहीं है, आपको काम कैसे दें? Okay, that is the kind of trend what we have come across. But at the same time, then we said, let's look at blending work and education together. So how that can be done? Probably this is a course which is named as BBA. So BBA has been there for so many years. If I expand it, it is Bachelor's in Business Administration. So unless you don't know and you have not seen, you have not experienced how the business is administered, okay, probably it becomes very difficult for me to sit in the classroom and visualize how the business is administered. Of course, there would be a lot of expert faculties who would be there. There would be an industry exposure in terms of internship, which can be given to you all, and you'd get a kind of know how a business will get administered in a real world or in a real business environment. Now, when we designed this course, why we started thinking it's going to be unique and why it is unique, because this is a course where the work is blended with learning. When I say work is blended with learning, from the day one when you join the university for this program, you will also be introduced to the industry. Now it could be Reliance, it could be Titan, it could be Tata Chroma, it could be any of the retail industry for that matter. So that's how. So this comes with a blended approach and a hybrid outcome. When I say hybrid outcome, what is a hybrid outcome? You might have seen so many products, no? This is a hybrid product. This is a hybrid car. Okay. So what is this all about? So what we did, so BBA generally has X number of subjects. For example, it could be financial accounting, it could be your managerial economics, it could be your cost accounting, it could be your statistics, so on and so forth. But what happens there is definitely you would be learning a lot of knowledge, you'll be gaining a lot of knowledge. But how do I implement those things in a real environment? That's how this was thought through, and we blended apprenticeship into it. What is apprenticeship? I'm not sure whether you have heard about apprenticeship before, but let me bring a little, focus on apprenticeship. Even today, when you go to any technical courses, or when you enroll into any technical courses, so say for example engineering, say for example a polytechnic course, that's a diploma. Say for example it could be an ITI. Definitely there will be a blend of industry exposure where you get onto industry and do a hands-on practice. And there are certain courses which also are called as sandwich courses, wherein while you do engineering, you also get to go to the industry and work there as an assistant engineer or a foreman or a mechanic or whatever. And then through that path, you grow up the ladder and then you are absorbed in the same company, or you may, after graduation, you may look for any other career or any other company. Now, in this program, we said Germany Plus. What is Germany Plus? In Germany, they said that, okay, while you learn, you also earn and you also work. We said, let's design this program. Let us build. Let's think. We sat with the industry partners. We sat with a lot of academicians. And then we said, now, I want to make somebody a manager or a supervisor immediately after his graduation. What should I do? Now, when people like Shubha and people like Sabaratnam, who are advisors for us, they suggested that these are the X number of things which he needs to learn. Academicians said, these are the so many subjects he needs to learn. While then we thought, let us blend both together and make a course. It's a 3-year program where 3 days you go to a college and 3 days you go and work in a store. Let me take a store of Titan, or let me take a store of Chroma, Tata Chroma, or let me talk to you about any of the Reliance stores. So 3 days you'll be in the college, you go to the theory class, and 3 days you work there. And what is taught to you in the class, you actually go there and practice. So when you practice there at the workplace, you are closely supervised by the managers, and you are taught how to carry out each and every task. So your learning is very fast. So you're fast tracking your career. And if you look at this entire 3-year program, 2 years, almost 21 months is your apprenticeship. That is your work. And you're paid while you work. That means you're learning also, you're earning also, you're gaining an experience. That means, apart from that, for 16 months or 15 months, you're also learning a lot of knowledge, a lot of other subjects like what other BBA students do. So what is the difference between an other BBA graduate and you? Because you already, when you graduate, you have a 2 years of experience. When you have 2 years of experience, any organization would be more than happy to absorb you as a supervisor if you fit all their prerequisites. So that's the crux of the program. Somebody was talking about placement. Is there a placement guarantee? Yes, from the day one of this program, you are placed. So the day one you take the admission, you are placed. You have started your earnings. Okay, if you work for 15 days in a month, you'll be paid for 15 days in a month. You work for 30 days in a month, you'll be paid for 30 days in the month. The program is so designed by the university. I should highly appreciate Delhi University for designing it so cohesively and ensuring that this program meets the nuances or the needs of the students with respect to their learning, which is a classroom learning, and which is also with respect to the workplace learning. So that's how the subjects have been blended. And now from the day one, you're placed an apprentice. And then once, let's assume that you're working with Reliance today, you start as an apprentice, then you learn all the facets of retail. It could be merchandising, it could be cashiering, it could be visual merchandising, then it could be sales and marketing. Yeah. So you will also learn that in the classroom as well. You will learn how to implement it at the workplace. So this is the speciality of the course. So this is called as an apprenticeship embedded degree program. It is designed as per the UGC guidelines. And then after the completion of the course, you will be absorbed by the same organization at the supervisory level, provided you meet all those eligibility and suitability criteria prescribed by the organization what you're working. So you'll be absorbed as an assistant manager or a supervisor, and then that's how you embark on your career. So you're starting your career right here. Secondly, if there would be many students here who would be thinking that I want to become an entrepreneur. Definitely, that's why you have joined BBA. But how do I become an entrepreneur unless I don't know how do I administer business? So there are two things here. One is entrepreneur and one is self-employed. Self-employed certainly still will have own restrictions that he or she has to do certain tasks in a particular time. But an entrepreneur needs to learn more of processes, system, or a businessman for that matter needs to know a lot of processes, systems, which will be taught to you. And when you come out with flying colors as a graduate from this program, you are free to start your own entrepreneurship, ventures, and also otherwise, you will be having an opportunity of joining any of the organizations. So net, I just want to tell you one small story and end my talk quickly. In ancient days, we had our Gurukul. So once, what happens? Guru was sitting with his shishyas, and then he asked, "Okay, I'm creating a temple. What do you want to become in the temple?" Somebody said, "I want to become the stepping stone of the temple." That means, and somebody said, "I want to become a bell." Somebody said, one shishya said, "I want to become a wall of the temple." Somebody said, I would want to become a tower of the temple so that I can be seen from far away and people recognize me that there is a temple and they come in. And there was one guy who was sitting, the last bencher, a little guy. So he said, Guruji, I want to become the idol. What idol? What is idol? The idol. The idol is what? The Murti, the God Murti. Do you want to become God? No, no, no. I want to become idol. I want to become the Murti. Then the Guru asked, do you know what it takes to become an idol? For example, for a stepping stone, I can just put the stone and people step on that stone and then go get into the temple. For putting a tower, it is very easy. For building a wall of the temple also, it is very easy. But for an idol, the sculpture has to hit so many times on the idol to make it a murti of the god, so that people come and bow to him. So that means you have to go through a lot of hardship there to become an idol. Then the student said, sir, I have that mindset, Guruji. I would still love to be an idol. So this course is like that. So there is a lot and lot of there are a lot of sculptures around you, which we one of it is the Delhi University and its faculty, and then the other is the industry and your managers, who are the sculptors. Both industry as well as the academia are coming here together in this course to shape up a career, make you employable, and provide you with an employment. So employment, there's a guaranteed employment is an outcome for this course. So having said that, I would call upon my co-panelists to further share their views on this course and the career prospects for the students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samir. I think that was a really good example you've given us and our students. I'm sure they're enjoying it. We have many questions coming in from the Facebook as well. Now, since we've stopped, or rather, halted at the mention of the Guru. Now, Mr. Ratnam has been with our curriculum advisory group and been an active member, a guru for us. He's given us some very, very salient inputs, which we've incorporated. Now, Mr. Ratnam, I'd just like to ask you two questions, I'm sure, which our students are, also keen to know. We are, all of us are very happy to say, okay, the retail industry is growing. We see numbers everywhere. But as a person from the industry, what is your real sense? And the second question is, you've seen the course very closely. Now, are we fitting to industry standards? Because most of the time we say we are dreamers. So, but we do want to achieve that dream. And that cannot be, happening without industry support. So these two questions for you for now, Mr. Ratnam.
Yeah. So if you look at retail, I hope I'm audible to everyone. You all can hear me, right? Okay. So if you consider the universe, I think it's consistently modifying itself, reshaping itself. There are many new things that are coming in. And there was a question yesterday, when I was having a session with my team, and they said that with the advent of technology, will we have a store which is absolutely manned by robots, and you don't have anyone inside the store like the Amazon Go store where someone walks in and walks out without any assistance. So they were generally asking because of the curiosity. And retail is such that there has to be touch and feel coming in, and like what Samir was talking about, it's the experience that you gather at the store that gives you better knowledge to manage the expectations of the customers. And it's quite evident if you look at the pandemic made customers browse online, but eventually when stores started getting those relaxations, suddenly people started flocking into those stores, because you can't curtail the mindset of people who would like to shop who would like to see. And as long as we have these shoppers, this kind of business is definitely going to thrive. There is no doubt about it. And the way we look at people who join us, we have a few expectations, both behaviorally as well as functionally. And in the behavior space, we want people to understand that retail is not about being in the product business, but it is about being in the experience business. And in order to build that experience, you really need to mold yourself, suit yourself to that requirement. And there should be something which is related to serving that should come to you. And a smile, for example, is something that gives a lot of pleasantries even without speaking, right? So all of that should come to you naturally. That's the first expectation. Secondly, you have to have empathy. You really need to put yourself in the other person's shoes to realize what that person might be going through if they have an issue. All these things are not taught. You have to learn, and you learn only when you experience that at the store. You may tell someone to behave like that, but they don't change their behavior because they have been brought up in a certain manner. But if you are seeing people around, if you are coaxed, if you are experiencing it, then those changes happen to you. And that's what we have seen with a lot of our people as well. We select people for attitude, so you really need to have the right attitude to learn. And learning is not something that will stop here. I can guarantee that, because whatever you learn, you will continue to learn while you are at the store, and also through college curriculum. It is a lifelong thing. Even for me at this stage, I undergo a lot of these courses from time to time. So that will not stop. And as a student, when you stop that, you don't tend to grow. That's also very, very important. Hence, from an industry point of view, the behavioral side is extremely important. On the functional side, we definitely want people to be more proactive. They really need to lead and work, because they are facing consumers day in, day out. So it's very important that they take those decisions. Yesterday, while talking, I was also mentioning about Singapore Airlines, where they empower their people up to 2 levels up. So if somebody is working at level 1, and if they have to take a decision, then they are empowered up to level 3, which is a higher level. Not even up to level 2, it goes 1 level up there. So like that, that sort of an ownership tends to come in, as you learn. And when you are part of the industry, those are the important elements that builds that ownership for you. And business acumen is important. Understanding the various commercials which really help grow the business. That understanding also comes when you are looking around, when you are seeing categories, and like what Samir was saying, merchandising, visual merchandising. These are elements which are not taught separately, but they are part of some curriculum. And as you get into retail, merchandising becomes an important element, because it's directly linked to the product mix of the store, and also affects the profitability. So you get a great understanding on all of that. It's very important that people quickly understand the culture of the organization, understand what is expected out of them, and then start delivering from day one. Industry really expects that delivery. It's impatient, I can tell you. They will not give you too much time. And it's important that you learn these things beforehand, before you come for the job. So that's it from my side, Nita.
Thank you. I think you've answered. There's a very interesting question that came out. It says, is it worth pursuing a BBA from a skill-based university? So I think between you and Samir, you've answered that question. Now,
Yeah.
I'd like to move on to Ms. Shobha Cecil, who's been very patient, and I think she's been very brave she's one of our sculptors who's going to be sculpting idols that we get into the university. So, thank you so much, Miss Cecil. I think I'd really say you've been brave, because I think this is the first time you're really embarking on this program with us, and we are also very thankful to you. Now, I think it's a very light-hearted question, but you will have an answer to it. What is it that made you, choose this program with the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, the apprenticeship embedded program? What was the gut that you had?
Yeah, hi Neeta. Thank you so much for that introduction and for saying that I'm brave. The truth is, I've been waiting and longing for this from quite a long time. Deep down, I always believed that India as a country has to get into skill-based learning. I mean, and I will connect it before I answer your question to that question that came up saying, why Delhi Skill University and why not a BBA from some other university? The truth is, when so basically I head HR for Hamleys and Rowan, and of course I take part in a lot of hiring for Reliance brands. We are entirely into the premium and luxury category. And when we get these people from, the campuses, a lot of people who do a BBA or an MBA, they come with the expectation that the moment they pass the course, I should take them as a store manager. I should take them as a deputy store manager. And they get heartbroken when I tell them that you have to actually start maybe as a fund consultant. I cannot put you at a deputy store manager level, even though you've done maybe from an IHM. And they are a little shocked because they are like, I've done an IHM course, and because we hire from IHMs also, they are a little surprised that why would I need to do that? The simple way I want to answer, and for all the friends who are listening, is that it's very important because as an organization, you may have learned 100 things in your book, but the real life is very different from the book. And no person, no matter if you are from, at least most of the tier 1 colleges also, we would give you a direct stint as a store manager. We cannot, because we cannot afford to put the entire store at risk, right? Though we are confident because you may have done an IHM, you may have done an IM, you may have done certain backgrounds. So obviously you have the credibility for it. But what I'm simply trying to say is the best part about being a part of a BBA, which is a skill related BBA, is right from the time you start your BBA course, you actually learn the tenets of the job. Okay. And in 3 years' time, what are you actually doing? In 3 years' time, you're mastering what actually requires for you to run that store. And 3 years down the line, when you meet someone, and it's not necessary that you will have to partner with me only where you're doing your apprenticeship. You could be willing to go anywhere, right? Nothing binds you to the organization where you did your apprenticeship. You will actually be confident because when I take an interview, you will actually say stuff that I expect someone to manage at that level. So I think that is where you have to realize, and students who are listening to this have to understand that when you get a Delhi Skill University BBA course versus a BBA course, which is just a BBA course, then how do I evaluate you when these two people come to me for an interview 3 years down the line? The guy who comes to me with a pure BBA without any experience of internship or practice or apprenticeship, I will make him start as my bottom most layer of the fund consultant and go up the ladder. Because in retail, like my honored panelists Ratnam and Samir also said, is some of the top CEOs of this country are people who started right from the bottom of the store. You cannot manage a business if you do not know the fundamentals of what happens at the store. The second important thing I think is very important is that your question to me was that what made you feel this is the right course? What made me feel is because I really wanted, and I really believe in that sometimes, when we get into a lot of courses like BBA, MBA, IHMs, as youngsters, we have a lot of fancy ideas in our life, okay? And we think that you are going to come out and, we're going to be riding this, maybe this Rolls Royce or this fancy car, and, we are going to go in and work in as a manager, and everybody's going to respect me as a manager. And the truth is that I feel very sad when I have to tell this to students, that there's a lot of learning you have to do, okay, because I'm putting a bet on someone. So I think it was not about gut. I was very, very sure that this is what I want to do. And just to share, Hamleys has originated, of course, in UK, and Hamleys is worldwide known. It's more than 260 years old. And if you look at countries which are UK and European countries, earning while you're learning is a fundamental part of their education life cycle. And I think I'm so glad that India has woken up to that, because it's so very important, because I feel Indian education loses its meaning after a certain period of time if they cannot marry industry with the academia. So I think it was not really about gut, but it's about the strong belief that it is very important. The second aspect is when students work for 3 years in a store, you know, when you walk into some of our malls, so we being, of course, in premium and luxury category, we are in some of the top malls of this country, you know, whether it is a Phoenix, if it's in Bombay, or, you know, some of these big malls. And life in a mall, when you go shopping with your friends or window shopping, looks very, very glamorous. And you think that, oh my God, I really want to be in that store. Now, what this course helps you is actually to understand, do you really want to be there? Because it's not just the glamour, there's a lot of hard work behind it. Okay, so I think all these factors, you know, actually convinced me that this is absolutely right. And, you know, I don't think I needed any further convincing. Uh, so I think Sameer and, of course, all those who are from RASI knew this. That's all I just wanted to say, Neeta.
Thank you so much for putting it together so beautifully, because I know our students are all very eager to really understand what a BBA in retail management means. So, I mean, I just have one more question to you, then I'll move on to Mr. Ratnam again. Yeah, the question is, you know, what would you really expect from this course coming out of course, you've answered a part of the question, but to say if, you know, a student was coming out of the DSCU BBA retail management course, and what we've said is in the third month they will be with you. What do you expect from the university? What kind of a student would you expect from the university?
So to answer that, Neeta, I will again touch upon what Ratnam said very clearly. And I think for anyone from an industry, you being in the sector itself would know that attitude is extremely important. All right. And I think if I have to look at it from a student coming from your university, what will I look for? The advantage is that I will look if that person is trained on certain basics. When I say basics, is that person trained on, you know, what is customer service all about? What is retail sales? How does the operations work? There are some things called retail maths. Saying that, this is not something that we will not train if you don't come from a BBA course to us. But like I said, the journey will be more longer for you. What advantage does this give you? Because you will be teaching these things. So I don't need to invest in that much of time as I would need to invest into someone who is just a fresher doing a pure course. So I think these are the basics that I will look for. As long as the person has the right attitude, the right skills, you would train him, because I feel you would cover all those aspects which are basics of retail sales, you know, whether it is retail maths or whether it's about customer experience, a little bit maybe of buying, you know, whatever your subjects are. That's what I just look for in the candidate. And I think the willingness to learn is what I will look from candidates for you. I mean, I would look particularly, Neeta, and I'm being very open to all my students on the call. I really would look for students who want to give it their best shot, even though it's grueling. All right. And I will not cover that up, you know, and mask that because there's no shortcut to success. I always say this to every person in my organization. And you have to be prepared that, you know, all of us have traveled a journey and you have to travel that journey. So that's how I would look at it.
Thank you so much. I think that's beautifully put, because especially in the skill world, we are always trying to, you know, match this expectation and aspiration. You know, what we expect and what we aspire might not match really what we get at the workplace, or, you know, when we move out of a course. So, Mr. Ratnam, with all your experience, you know, dealing with young kids, with freshers, how, you know, when you have a situation like this, how is it that you manage the situation? Suppose you have a youngster, and like Ms. Cecil said, you know, that they come in. Of course, I think this was really the case when we started even skill training, say 15 years back. Like Ms. Cecil said, everybody wanted to be a supervisor in 3 months training. They thought, I've got training, so why not? So I think that was a lesson that we had learned a little earlier. But now, even today, students still feel that they've got a training, so they should get a certain rank at the workplace. Again, I think that is also to do with all the glamour that is seen and not the
Hmm.
hard work. So how do we put this across to the students? I mean, taking it forward from Ms. Cecil is what she left.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's very important. I completely agree with Shobha, what she was, talking about seriousness and passion that you show when you learn. And it's very important that someone who has aspirations to build their career in the space of retail, they have to put in that added effort. You have so many people around you who are in the same journey. How do you build more skills in the given time and start shaping up in that space with all expectations, looking up to you, is the one who will come up faster. And with youngsters, particularly who join us, we make it a point that they understand this whole piece. It's important for them to really process this thing in their mind, that the journeys have been built for them, and they can do it in a shorter amount of time, provided they show all the things that are expected, at a higher level. And those expectations are set as they start showing some signs of potential. It's important to look at both. One is performance, and the other piece is potential. Potential actually comes when you show a lot of proactiveness in whatever is expected out of you. There are certain things probably your manager might not be looking into, but you highlight those things, you proactively take that responsibility, you also guide your fellow teammates, etc. These are natural things that are expected out of anybody. One is how do you grow as an individual. Second is how do you work with those interdependencies that are required inside a store, right? Because it's very important to learn that aspect. And team building, working with diverse team members, those are extremely important things. And we tell them well in the beginning, that these are expected out of you, so work. And whenever you feel that things are becoming difficult, or it's not becoming manageable, just buddy with somebody inside the store who is experienced, and that gives a lot of confidence to people. And it's all about the attitude. Again, I'm going back to that point, because you need to have a positive mindset, and you also need to think that, yes, I have to contribute, I have to put in that added effort to grow. Nothing comes easy. It's all about building that effort for yourself and nobody else. So you will have your supervisors telling you a few things, but you should be in the lookout for larger impacting elements inside the store, and quickly pick those, for your own learning. And if you see that there are some gaps, I have seen individuals who have been successful in the past. They have really looked into some of the gaps that they have in them, and they have looked for mentors, they have looked to collaborate with their peers to build that skill for themselves over time. And within a short period of time, we have seen a great change in those kind of people as well. We also run a lot of talent development programs, and in that also there is again the 80-20 ratio plays. So you will have only the top 20% coming up, and that 20% also compete with each other in that space, because the number of positions that will open up will not be so much. So as you move up the pyramid, it kind of becomes narrower, right? So you have to compete for that, and you really need to build that skill for yourself to understand what are the requirements to progress in life.
Thank you, Mr. Ratnam. So, I mean, what I hear is that, as long as we have an attitude to learn, the potential for growth is immense in this sector. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
the sky's the
Yes.
limit. Because like Samir was mentioning, that especially in Germany, I've seen a lot of apprentices who have become CEOs of companies now. So I think that's really what we see also in this sector.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we have one question. I think I can park that very comfortably with Samir. Is that they've asked, one of the students has asked, what are the job roles after the first year, second year, and the third year? So you might want to also elaborate a little on some of the subjects that we have in the semesters as well.
Okay. If you just recall what I was saying, to be very specific and answer this question. So when we started developing this curriculum, we first, questioned ourselves, if I have to make somebody an assistant manager, a deputy manager, or a supervisor, then what are the ingredients that are required with respect to skills and knowledge? And then when we start the industry, then he needs to know all those job roles which are being supervised by him or her at a later date. So that means it very clearly stated that there was a requirement for a student or for an apprentice to go through those job roles, get into the grind of all those job roles, perform, carry out tasks in all such job roles, which he or she is going to supervise at a later date. To be very specific on the job roles, yes, one is we look at visual merchandising as one job role. Then you look at cashiering as to start with. To be very specific on the first year, the first year involves cashiering, merchandising, and visual merchandising. These are the three job roles. When I say visual merchandising, not as an independent visual merchandiser, because visual merchandiser is an independent, his role is at a higher level. So you would be assisting visual merchandisers to carry out their visual merchandising. These are the three job roles what you will be going through. Three predominant in the first year. Then when you get on to second year, so you will get into selling, pure selling and customer service, like what Shobha was citing about, selling, sales, as well as customer service. And then in the third year, you will get on to doing apprenticeship at the supervisory level. That's as a team leader. So as a team leader, you will carry out the apprenticeship there, and then you will also guide your team, handhold your team, towards achieving the targets of the store. So these are the job roles which the course takes care of. Apart from that, there are a lot of university general subjects which have been taught, which will be taught within the classroom. Like Shobha said, he needs to know retail maths. Yes, of course, retail maths is very much into this course. And then we are talking about financial accounting. So one needs to know financial accounting. Yes, somebody. I was just seeing a syllabus of one of the university where it was stating that it is advanced accounting, basic accounting. So accounting is accounting. Then we thought how we have to convert it to which is very relevant to retail. So when you talk about financial accounting, so these are all case driven or a use case driven kind of learning what we have designed. So where it would be very much, when you're learning financial accounting, it would be very much relevant to the retail business. So that's how all the subjects are knitted together. Hope I have answered the question about the job roles.
Yes, thank you so much. I think that was very important, because of course students are very keen to know what will happen after, because we have a multiple entry and exit system here. So that's something that they're keen to.
Just to add on, so for a store, no, it is right from the receipt of goods and the goods going out in the hands of the customer. So trust me, you will be taking part in all those roles, right from receiving the goods in the store, which is coming from the warehouse, and then making it move within the store and then to the customer. So all those job roles are taken care of.
That's wonderful. Actually, if you look at it, you become a mini expert from the first year itself, because you know the workings
Yeah.
of the store so well. I don't know if Mr. Ratnam and Ms. Cecil will really, comply with this. But what I'm saying, but what I see and what I hear is like you become, a complete. You have the in-house knowledge of the store completely in the first year itself. Am I correct in saying that?
Uh, yeah, I think it's absolutely bang on. We were also thinking of having a virtual store, for training our people. Because when you have stores in smaller towns, you don't get a master store to train. Generally what happens is larger towns has either a company store or a large franchisee store where you can depute somebody for some time to learn on the processes before they come and join the store that they have been employed with. And here in this course, the thing is taught right from the beginning, right? So they have a good blend of both classroom and the vocational training that they are part of. So they learn while they are on the job, and they get a good sense of how store operations are run, and they also get into the SOPs which have been laid down for the store to function. They understand the different compliances because they see, right? They can experience that. So I completely agree with you, Nita. You're absolutely right.
Yes, Cecil, I mean, it sounds so exciting that, any of us would want to be in a program like this, because this is actually a privilege. You don't get this, especially in the first year of your learning. What would you say to that, Ms. Cecil?
Yeah, I personally agree to that, Nita, and I just want to share here. So, what happens when you're a part of a journey of a store is that there are many things. Like when COVID came in, a lot of our stores shift on to e-commerce, or we got into distance selling, or we got into some things like curbside selling. So, what happens when you are exposed into the store operations right from day one is that you get also exposed to the various facets that the store will go through. So there's immense opportunity. I think, like Ratnam said, and like Samir, everyone is saying the same point. You have to keep in mind that 3 days of a week is what you will kind of attend, because you have 3 days of classroom and you have 3 days of on the job. So it's very important that in the 3 days you learn a lot of things. Like, say for example, for us, we also help them to do jingles. We make them play games. We make them do a lot of things, if those who have visited Hamley's stores, and we do that so that they understand a flavor of what it is, just doing these things and activities in the store. And it's also over this journey that they may understand that they like VM better. There are a lot of people, after say 1 or 2 years, they may feel that I like visual merchandising better than retail operations, because that's where my mind is. So I think the 3-year journey will give you a lot of clarity of the various aspects of store, and you will also be very clear of where you want to see yourself and what you want to actually pursue in terms of your full-fledged career.
That's a great point you've brought out, Ms. Cecil, because I mean, you get a flavor of everything, and then you realize where your purpose lies. So I think that's a great journey, because not everybody gets that opportunity. Because if you're not in there from day one, or from year one, um, you will realize that when you reach third year, then, oh, this is not what I wanted, and you wasted 2 years. So here from the first year itself, you're actually getting a flavor of everything that could be in terms of a retail store. And then in the third year, you get to choose what you want and specialize in it. So I think this has been wonderful, and I'm so excited. I wish I could take the course as well. We don't have an age bar, so you might find me as one of the apprentices soon. Looks like it, because we've always been very fascinated by the retail world. I mean, that's the biggest therapy we have. For us,
Yeah.
it's from the customer side. I'm sure it's not that easy on the other side, but we will want to also understand that better, and maybe one day we will come as mock apprentices to you all. So hopefully. And the other thing we've been telling students, other than, of course, we've said hard work, there is a lot of, hard work involved in it. So we want to also tell our students that, there is a bit of sacrifice as well in terms of, maybe the vacation might not be a vacation for you. It might be a public holiday, but, that might be the most important day for the store. So I think those things are a few elements also we want to tell our students upfront, that maybe a few years of hard work can take you to places as you go ahead.
There's a flip side to that also, if you permit me to say.
Yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, now whenever I go into any UG program or a degree program, so I have got, say for example, I have got 12 subjects, or say 6 subjects to study, and then I have, there are 10 fat books for me to complete and actually reproduce all of them in an examination between the year and end of the year. But if you, friends, I would like to tell you a simple calculation here. So this entire program, you will be doing only 40% of it. So if I'm saying you are supposed to read 10 books, you'll be reading only 4 books. Why? Because this entire program has got a weightage of 60% or more than 60% for skills. So that means my study is my work. When I work, I get my marks. And then, of course, instead of studying all the 8 books, you are studying actually lesser number of books. And you are actually reproducing them at the work also and on your answer papers also. So that means if you, while I was just, countering to what Neeta was stating, a lot of hard work. Definitely, if I have to perform and if I have to be on top, whether it is a general BBA or a general BCom, I have to study, I have to reproduce, I have to attain 90 plus percent, 95 plus percent, so on and so forth. Here, you get your credits by actually working as an apprentice. 60% of the credits you're getting as an apprentice. So your studies are done there. You are actually, working, like Shobha said, you're playing, then you're getting your marks, you're getting paid for the stipend, you're learning, you're going back to the class, you're enjoying the campus also. So I think it's going to be a fun. Like what Neeta said, I would want to be an apprentice. I'll join along with you.
So I think, I'm just taking from what you've said, Samir. It'll be the best of both worlds is what they're getting. We didn't have that opportunity when we were growing up, but I'm sure as mock apprentices, Miss Cecil will take us someday. so, Miss Cecil, I think a few last words from you, for our students who are going to be coming to you very soon. They're very excited. And again, the word, I would say expectations in the right way, because they're going to come and learn, they're going to come and experience something that only maybe they've dreamt about or seen in the books and the movies. So some words of advice, last words for our students, Ms. Cecil.
Neeta, thanks so much. And to all the students who are aspiring to be a part of this course, the only thing I can say is I'm just waiting for you guys to join us. And I hope the journey will be as exciting for you as you're feeling today. And I would only look at 2 things from you. Like I think Ratnam had stated, that the right attitude and to remember that there is no shortcut for success. I think if you have these 2 things, the rest all will be sorted. And you don't have to worry about a job. I mean, that you are at least one category of people in the world who will not have to worry about a job, because believe me, the way retail is growing is phenomenal. This industry is going to absolutely boom in the next couple of maybe 5 to 10 years. and we will have so many players coming into the markets, and a lot of companies like Reliance moving into international markets. So the opportunities are limitless in this industry. And one thing you can be sure is that after 3 years of studying, and I call this as studies, so please do not mistake this to working, you definitely have a job on hand, because there is no retailer who will not want somebody who has worked in the store for 3 years. That's for sure what I can tell.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. That's absolutely comforting and such a warm welcome. I'm sure students are really going to enjoy, learning with the Reliance brands. And now over to you, Mr. Ratnam. Some advice for our students and some last words for them.
So I'll actually tell another story like what Samir said, and it's a interesting one because it has stayed with me for a long time. This is about a very old wise man, who was the talk of the town, and he was very popular, and people used to go to him for all sorts of advice. And there were these naughty children, who wanted to really bring him down, because whatever he said was right, and no way he could be wrong. And these children decided that they will certainly make him say things which are not right. So they caught hold of a bird, and they went to him, and they said that we have something in our hand. Can you tell what do we have? So the old man, after a lot of thought, he kind of read their mischief, and he said, "You have a bird in your hand." And the children were really shocked, and they said, "Oh, how did he know that we have a bird?" So they asked another question saying, "Can you tell whether this bird is dead or alive?" And the idea was that if he said alive, then they would squeeze and say that the bird is dead. Or if he said, it is dead, then they will any which way skill cannot, leave the bird, and say that it's alive. So that guy actually was very sharp, and he said, that my friend is in your hand. He answered it like that. And it's very important for all the students to understand that whatever we bring onto the table is just to facilitate and help you build your career. But everything resides with you. You just have to remember that, and you will get all sorts of support that is required if you ask for it. So have an open mind, have the spirit to learn, and start your journey. That's what I'll tell them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ratnam. I think that's wonderful advice for the first batch of students who are going to come in, and I'm sure they're already excited. Samir, some advice for our students, in terms of what they can expect from the course as well.
In fact, we have just heard from both the horses, actually, from the horse's mouth. So I have very little to say. In fact, what I would like to say is, unlike any other programs or anything, so you're fast tracking your career, and you're making yourself inevitable for the person who have nurtured you all along, like what Shobha said. So be that, because today, if I put a plant or a coconut tree, plant a coconut tree in my courtyard, and then when it starts yielding fruits, definitely I would not hand it over to the neighbors. So that's how this course is, because you get nurtured by an organization, especially organizations like Reliance, who are Indian multinationals, Tatas, who are again Indian multinationals, and you get an opportunity to embark your career with such big organizations, such well-known organizations, and this is actually a golden opportunity. In fact, none of us actually got this kind of an opportunity, and you will start tasting the success after 6 months of this course. You will experience by itself yourself. So, having said that, I would like to motivate everyone to experience this, and gain benefits of this program, which is rolled out by Delhi Skills and Entrepreneurship University. Thank you.
Samir and Neeta and Ratnam, I just wanted to add a point here because it just struck me while Samir was talking that, we, at least when we were all young, and I'm sure all my panelists will agree with me, there were many times like when I passed out MBA, I wanted to work in a great organization, an organization which was a well-known house name. And I was okay to work for free, and here it is, we are saying that, you learn and we pay you, right? Actually speaking. And so that's the brilliant thing about this. So, starting your journey with great organizations, I think is something that, students should absolutely feel comfortable in when they are starting their, I would say their academic and their career journey.
Yes, I totally agree.
Okay.
Actually, golden advice from everybody. Wish we could frame this somewhere, because we are all so excited. I have just one little proverb that I have been carrying with me since the time I started my skill journey. It says, teach your children things other than what you have learned and prepare them for times different from yours. So I think this is exactly what we are embarking into right now. Apprenticeships, we've had it in our country from 1961, and we are seeing it materialize the way we want it to be done only now. So, but I guess better late than never, and we have great organizations like you two, like both of you to support us. We have Rashi here supporting us with the course curriculum as well. So I don't think there is any way, any other way that this program is not going to be a success. It's going to be a booming success. And we are very confident that it's going to be a model for the world to see. Because I already have a lot of international organizations coming to study this program. So I think we are creating history here. And I'd like to thank each of you for your time, for your advice, and the great tips that you've given our students. And of course, the warm welcome that they're going to get very soon. I think that's very, very close to our heart. And we wish you all the best when the program starts. And thank you once again from the Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.